A Canadian woman posed for a selfie while standing on top of her car as it sank into an icy river, and people were trying to rescue her. Here are the details. Ottawa emergency crews responded to the incident on the Rideau River, Manotick, after a yellow vehicle sank into the frozen water at around 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, January 16th, police officials said. The driver was seen climbing on top of the vehicle as it slowly sank and appeared to capture the moment with a selfie. At the same time, two men were seen running to get a kayak, which they tied a rope to. After that, they flung the kayak onto the frozen river. The driver grabbed the kayak while another resident pulled her out of the icy water. As soon as the driver was ashore, the car went under. A man was heard telling the woman, "Don't go towards the car, please come closer in." Witnesses say the woman was driving about 40 miles per hour on top of the ice of Rideau River before it got stuck and started sinking, WTVR reports. "We were on the river in cars, and this car went absolutely flying out of the river. I was shocked at how fast it was going, and that it was a car on the freaking river. She's lucky she didn't hurt anyone else," tweeted Julie Bowman. The driver was not injured during the incident, but then she was charged with dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, according to the Ottawa police. Police said the car was still in the river and warned people not to venture out onto the ice. Another reminder that no ice is safe ice. Please use extreme caution this winter season, Ottawa police tweeted.
We at TomoNews have posted a ton of moronic selfie takers losing their lives in dangerous poses for virtual likes, hearts, and to find self-value in the comments of perverted men. Some are luckier and survive, but none more than this woman. A TikTok video posted on the 28th of June has left the internet shaking its head after a woman believed to be in Romania attempts to take a picture with a bear out in the wild. Of course, it goes without saying you shouldn't pester wild animals, especially when they're as murderous as bears. However, this video means said warning shall be reiterated. In the video, the woman, dressed for an episode of The Gladiators, holds something in her hand as she approaches the brown bear, minding its own, sat on the side of the road. Mockingly, those recording the blue leotard from the safety of their car can be heard saying, "I have to film it. Look how she's holding her hand, stupid girl." However, her futile attempts at trying to seduce the bear into becoming insta-famous take a turn for the worst as the bear lunges, leaving her sprinting for her life. Unfortunately, the bear decides to stop, leaving those filming gasp at the close call, saying, "Can you see how stupid she is? Go get in the car. All that risk for a picture with a bear?" Did I just say unfortunately?
Trebuie să filmeze direct.
Handicapat. Filmează să moară dacă nu. Uite cum stă cu mâna proastă.
Asta e, bă. Ești prost, duce asta. Ai văzut? Ai văzut dacă e prost. Nu se mai duce.
Du-te, bă, mașină, bă. Mă, și mă sperie, bă.
Ești prost.
Dar proastă de rage, nu ca...
Stai că se repede la ea acum, stai. Uite ea.
Du-te, mă, în mașină, bă.
Pentru o poză cu ursul.
Ai vrut urs.
Ce...
Un pic cu BMW-ul.
Du-te
ce poate să fac cu un BMW?
Ești cu BMW-ul tot aici.
Oh my God.
Dar cum mai te duci la...
Deci îți dai seama ce am avut ea în cap? Dacă îmi făcea...
The location of the incident is so far unclear, which is good news because you know all those so-called influencers would otherwise flock to the scene. Unsurprisingly, the Romanian authorities have issued repeated warnings for drivers not to treat bears on the roadside as pets, with Costel Alexei, the Minister of the Environment, recently saying the bear is a wild animal protected by law, not a pet. And as if reading the last line from a storybook, he added, "I say once again to the citizens of this country, a bear which has tasted biscuits, wafers, and feels that he can get food in this way will never be able to adapt to the forest again."
Apparently, some Chinese tourists thought it was a great idea to ignore barriers imposed by a park and jump into a sea of flowers to take selfies. Photos published by Chinese media outlets shows the tourists entering the area to sit and lie down for photos, flattening the grass while doing so. A woman surnamed Zheng, reportedly a caretaker of the park, said it broke her heart when she saw the tourists destroying the grass just for a few selfies. According to the South China Morning Post, her voice turned hoarse from yelling at the ill-mannered tourists. She told local reporters she felt like her child was being bullied, but she couldn't do anything to stop it. She added that the rare pink grass was imported from Australia and it took 3 years for them to tend it. However, it only took 2 weeks for the selfie-seeking tourist to destroy the pretty pink grass, which typically is able to last for at least 2 months. She said even though the pictures the tourists took must be very pretty, they have ugly behavior. Zheng added they were left with no choice but to cut the grass down in order to ensure the pink grass has a chance to bloom again next year, at which point we hope this doesn't happen again. A Chinese university student met her untimely end while taking a selfie from one of China's most famous mountains. The paper reports that at the end of October, university student Xiao Deng went up China's Huashan Mountain in Shaanxi, best known for its steep cliffs and deadly pee-your-pants plank trails. The 21-year-old had been taking selfies all the way up the mountain and sharing it with classmates in a WeChat group before suddenly going radio silent. Her university in Hunan went to the cops a day later and told her family she was missing. Police checked the surveillance at Huashan and saw that Deng had been taking a selfie on an observation deck on the western part of the mountain. While framing the shot, she made a misstep that caused her to fall back past the 60-centimeter chain fence and off the edge of the cliff to her death. The management at Huashan National Park said it wasn't responsible for the incident since Deng was an adult who ignored safety warnings. Still, it said it would give the family humanitarian aid to the tune of 40,000 yuan or $5,700. The girl's mom, though, thinks management is fully to blame because of the low fence. Sure, Huashan needs to step up its guardrail game and actually have one that does its job, but actions, like ignoring warnings, do have consequences. A Chinese tourist planned to take a selfie by the rim of the Grand Canyon fell through, well, in this case, moreover. According to David Leibowitz, a spokesman for Grand Canyon West, a 12-person tour group from Hong Kong was visiting the Grand Canyon last Thursday. According to the SCMP, the group was on day 2 of a week-long tour of the West Coast when things started to go downhill. The real cliffhanger came when many of the tourists were taking photos way too close for comfort by the rim of the canyon. According to AZ Central, while trying to snap a selfie at Eagle Point, adjacent to the skywalk, a 50-year-old man from Macau accidentally plunged 1,000 feet over the edge. AZ Central reports that according to Leibowitz, a helicopter search later located the man's body at the bottom of the canyon. His body was transported to the closest hospital by helicopter. His name has not been released. According to the AP, while there is no barrier at Eagle Point, signs warn people not to get too close to the edge. Maybe the guy should have gotten a selfie of that.
In typical termite tourist fashion, an Austrian man was caught accidentally breaking 3 toes off a 200-year-old Italian sculpture. An unnamed 50-year-old man from Austria has confessed to accidentally breaking a 19th century plaster sculpture by sprawling over it to have his picture taken. The 200-year-old model was sculpted by artist Antonio Canova and is on display in Posano, Italy. Canova was a celebrated sculptor who lived from 1757 to 1822 and was renowned for his marble statues. Speaking to CNN, local police said the man was with a group of 8 Austrian tourists on July 31st. He broke away from the pack and slouched over the statue for a snap. As a result, he broke 3 toes of the right foot and then tried to conceal what he did by standing in front of it. According to investigators, there could be further damage to the base of the sculpture that the museum experts still have to ascertain. The man was reportedly identified through personal contact details left at the museum as part of new requirements for tracking visitors amid the coronavirus. When the police contacted a woman who signed on behalf of herself and her husband, she burst into tears, admitting that her husband was, in fact, the toe breaker. The man was described as being upset and repentant for the stupid move. A court in Treviso is currently deciding whether to press charges. Then again, what goes around comes around.
A British woman is sadly no longer around after taking a plunge off a cliff in Australia while trying to take a selfie. News Corp Australia reports that 21-year-old Madeline Davis was at Diamond Bay Reserve on Sunday with some friends. According to reports, Davis had been at a party in a rich suburb east of Sydney when they decided to watch the sunrise from the cliffs, which also happened to be a popular selfie spot. According to Marine Rescue New South Wales, Davis and her friends split up when they got to the cliffs. BBC reports that signs are placed to warn people to stay away from the cliff edge, and the local mayor said the height of the fences in the area had been increased. It appears that Davis was attempting to take a selfie when she somehow fell off and was fatally injured. When everyone regrouped, Davis was nowhere to be found, so they called rescue services. Emergency crews responded to the scene around 6:30 a.m. local time. Her body was located and retrieved from the water about 4 hours later. According to her social media accounts, Davis was an eyelash beautician and had recently been to Thailand and Bali before making her way down under.
A forest ranger in eastern India probably should have won the Darwin Award after this genius almost got strangled by a python while trying to take a selfie with it. The locals had just called for help in capturing the poisonous python, which were reportedly just off the goat. Mr. Speaks with Snakes showed up and captured the slithering reptile. But that's not all. He then decided to pose with the serpent while locals gathered around and took selfies. Then, for some strange reason, the snake started twisting and turning around the man's neck. Fortunately, the locals saved the ranger's rear end. The snake was later released into the wild. The forest ranger commented to AFP saying his first instinct was to rescue the snake. So what was his second instinct? To get strangled by the snake?
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.